Hello everyone, it is that time again, where I ask you guys for your unpopular opinions on the game, and you guys give me them, and then I talk about them. And that's exactly what we're gonna do. So subscribe if you want to see more, and let's get started. Diamond Stars says, I think that people care too much about the meta. The meta doesn't affect 9% of the player base who queue up with randoms, and tournaments are always gonna revolve around a handful of the best weapons in the game, meaning there is little hope for variety. So, I don't know if I agree with the second half. You can have metas that are very diverse, and in this game having variety is something we've seen before in some of the better Splatoon 2 metas. However, the idea that 90% of it doesn't affect you is true. A lot of people have asked me for the tier list I make, what about doing a solo queue tier list? And the truth is that while I could do one, it barely matters so much that I think it's kind of pointless and also influence people's weapon choices too poorly. Realistically, meta is still a problem, but some people are like, yeah man, I hate triple splash meta. When I play my S-rank games, it just ruins the game. You're not gonna run into triple splash in S-rank, come on. Like, it's not that big a deal. Gus says, having map pools for one tournament where there's more than 15 maps to choose from is holding the comp scene back. Not entirely, but it contributes to not advancing the scene further. So, a bit ago, I posted about this saying, I think for turning map lists, it'd be a good idea to use the 12 Ink TV maps, pictured here, and add 1 to 2 per mode depending on the format. So this wording confused a few people, but basically I'm saying, let's say you're IPL that's gonna run a major, or just a weekly, or whatever. Instead of creating an entire map list from scratch, these 12 maps would be the default, and then based on how long you want your map list to be, you can add a few others of your own choosing. And this way, every tournament, or at least most of them, would have these base 12 maps, which would allow map lists to have variety, while still having enough be consistent to where, even if teams have to learn a few different maps, the majority are the same. This map list was also made with 16 high-level players from different teams and a few TOs originally, so this is the closest thing to a universal map list we have ever gotten. So I think it would be a good start, and it's small enough to allow a good amount of map modes as customization. The only time this would need to be updated is if, like, a god stage like Reef got added, in which, easy, bring back a similar 16 group, have them vote on which map modes get replaced, and then you keep the same thing. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I've honestly been able to learn a few different new weapons or strats because of the more restricted map list, and so honestly, I really hope it's what we get. Next hot take. Utility subs suck to run. Some are lame on builds, and they discourage running unique gear, and some weapons have almost half of their sub abilities invested in utilities, and weapons like blasters have to run a handful of intensify to be reliable. So, 1 sub intensify action, 1 sub ink resistance, 1 sub defense, special saver, and quick super jump are all utility subs that you will run on most weapons in the game. That is half your sub abilities. So, yeah, honestly, it is kind of a bit too much, and I do think it's kind of a problem. It's weird in terms of being hard to avoid. I think some things like 1 sub of ink res and quick super jump should be default. Stuff like special saver, intensify, and sub defense I can understand being utility, but there's definitely way too many. It's not really a huge problem like main power up was, because that took up like almost your entire gear set. This is just half of your subs, but it still kind of sucks. Jinro says, even in Splatoon 1, Range Blaster itself wasn't that good. It had a God kit, custom Range Blaster with Spot Bomb Kraken, and still didn't really see play until people realized that Quick Respawn Stealth Jump made its consistency issues irrelevant. Give it a buff, it honestly deserves it. Now yes, I am #1 Range Blaster fan, so there's some bias here, but honestly, this is a take I didn't really consider. I've stated that Quick Respawn Stealth Jump helped its placement as well as its kit, but I've never really had the perspective that even Splatoon 1 Range Blaster without a God kit and QR Stealth Jump would be bad, and honestly, it might be true. This perspective is kind of new to me, but after doing an interview with Q, a top Charger player, which Twitch you guys haven't seen yet, but YouTube has, we talked a little bit about how Chargers are falling off due to their inconsistencies, and that makes it a bit unreliable at top level play. And maybe this is an issue facing other weapons that we're going to see more, because Splatoon 1 and 2 both had crutches. Splatoon 1 had Quick Respawn Stealth Jump, and Splatoon 2 had Ink Armor, both of which made consistency a lot easier. And of course, it's better we don't have those things, but how they affect some of the high skill weapons in this game, you know, Range Blaster and Chargers, as well as other stuff like Brellas, if they were to ever make those good, is yet to be seen, so we'll have to find out. Leoto says, I prefer the new X-Rank system since it allows similar skill levels or as similar as possible to be paired together. It also gets me off the game due to how long the queue time is, and I honestly appreciate it. I get to do stuff in the downtime between matches. So, I'm not sure if too many people know this, but at the higher X powers outside of the JP region, yeah, queue times can be very, very long in order to get games. And some people have expressed that they dislike this, but to me, I think it's just kind of a necessary evil. Like, once you get to the top 100, 200 players, if you really want matchmaking with people similar to your skill level, it's just going to take a long time. Like, the percent of players at that level is just too tiny, so... yeah, I can see it. Setu says Splatfest needs ranked modes, or they need to add ranked events and League with a different leaderboard time frame. Honestly, I agree with this. I think Splatfest have kind of gone stale for me. Now, don't hate me. I don't hate Splatfest. I just don't care, like, that much at all. I don't care for them, really. I don't anymore. Tricolor's pretty fun, but it's only in the second half, and normal Turf War just isn't that interesting, and the matchmaking is also really, really, really bad, because if you play with a team, you're forced into the open casual mode instead of the pro mode. Don't know why, but that's how it is. I don't even think it needs to be ranked modes, but, like, Splatfest needs something new, or something a little bit more to it, because honestly, even Big Run technically feels like it does more new to it. Now that we have the new King Salmonid and a new stage every time, like, I just look forward to Big Run so much more, and I hope Splatfest just gets something a little bit more to it. Hornet says that devs should change kits on weapons that are extremely unbalanced, such as Blue Dapple, Splash, L3, and others. Alright, so listen, I know some people have talked about this, mainly because of Vanilla Splash existing. I'm gonna say it's a very bad idea. This only really works if the devs are absolutely sure about the power level they want kits to be, and they're not. Like, that's just not a thing. And on top of that, this only works if you assume they change kits that are fine. What if they decide that, like, T-Tech isn't too good, and they decide to change out Tri-Strike with Missile? Like, it's very easy to mess this up. And on top of that, even for the worst kits, some people are gonna like and have fun with them. You can't give people tools that they might enjoy and then take it away from them. Like, maybe there is Timmy, the Neo-Sploosh player, who absolutely loves Beacon and Whale. And yeah, I don't think that kit should have been put in the game, but I'm not gonna go over here and say, sorry, this weapon sucks too much in competitive play, so your A-rank Neo-Sploosh is gone now. You can't ever pick that combination ever again. Like, no, that's a bad idea. Beta says, the Squid Sisters need to leave after this game. The fact that Pearl and Marina have both been neglected to only getting lore if you buy additional DLC in both games, not even getting to be the stars in their own debut game, is ridiculous. You know, I didn't really think about this, but Pearl and Marina being completely gone from Splatoon 2 Hero Mode? Yeah, that is kind of weird in hindsight, right? Guys, the fact that so many of you are immediately claiming hot and cold immediately should tell you that this is a hot take. The instant split here is an indicator of what a hot take is. See, the fact that you all don't agree, this is exactly the point. Anyway, now listen, I think the Squid Sisters are really cool. Do they overstay their welcome? Yeah, probably. At least Deep Cut got to get a little bit in Return of the Mammalians, but I mean, let's be honest, Deep Cut did not get enough character moments in the story mode, though to be fair, no one really did. I do think this hero mode was trying to wrap up that main storyline, and I think we'll see less with the Squid Sisters from now on, which is probably a good thing. I do think the new idol groups need more to it, but that's just one of the factors of having so many characters. You kind of need to make sure all of them get a spotlight, and the more new characters you put in the game, the harder it is to reuse the same one. So the Squid Sisters are fine. I enjoy them, but yeah, they're definitely overused compared to other characters, so that's fair. And that is all your hot takes. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know your opinions in the comments. Bye.